Hey everybody, so today I've got a shorter form video that's centered around yet another mod for Half-Life 2, this one being HL2 Substance. Before I get any further, I feel like I should do a little explaining since I've gained a lot of subs over the past few videos. Basically, this channel is split into two different types of videos. The longer, more in-depth ones that are the main thing I do, and shorter, more casual videos about mods that I do while I've got a bigger thing going on in the background. By bigger thing, I mostly mean I'm playing through a game that's going to take me a while to beat, so I play through a bunch of mods in the meantime so I don't have like a gap between videos and I can keep a consistent schedule up. With that out of the way, on to the main subject of today's video. So Half-Life 2 Substance is a lesser known mod for HL2 that came out pretty early in the game's lifecycle, all the way back in 2005. If you've watched my other videos about Half-Life 2 mods, then you already know the whole spiel at this point. The source engine was brand new, everyone was still figuring everything out, so there was a good bit of experimentation, but generally everything was smaller in scale than a lot of the stuff we get nowadays. Substance is unique among the other mods I've covered though, in that it doesn't add any new levels, it's not a standalone story or anything like that. Instead, it's a gameplay mod that uses the base game's campaign but drastically alters the flow and mechanics present in it. Think of it like this: if you've played through the game before, this is basically a remix. All the enemy placements are different, there's new weapons, entirely new gameplay mechanics. It's the same set of levels but a brand new experience. The shtick of Substance is, as I'm sure you already know from the title, that it's themed around combining the world of Half-Life with elements of the Metal Gear franchise. Full disclaimer, I'm not a Metal Gear guy. The only time I've ever played any of them was a few demos from back when Pizza Hut used to give out promo discs, and I never messed with the MGS demos that much because all of the dialogue for the games were in Japanese for some reason, unlike every other game on the disc, plus they're stealth games and I was 7, so I didn't really get them. Growing up alongside the internet though, and spending a lot of my early years on video game forums and 2000s era YouTube, those games were always a really big topic of discussion, and of course there were a shitload of memes about them, so I kind of absorbed a lot of knowledge about the series through osmosis, so I'm not completely unfamiliar with it. It's just not an area of expertise for me. Substance had pretty good reviews though, and it was on the shortlist for Mod of the Year on ModDB back in 2005, so even though I'm not a fan of the inspiration, I figured there wasn't any point in passing up on a well-regarded, if seemingly forgotten about, mod for a series I am very much a fan of. The primary gameplay gimmick of this mod is that the HEV suit now comes with 5 different modes of operation, each corresponding to the combat style of a different character from Metal Gear. Each mod uses a different arsenal of weapons, has different abilities, and a completely unique playstyle. The first one is Assault Mode, or Maximum Liquid, as the suit's voice calls it. This is basically the brawler mode that comes with a lot of hard-hitting weapons like dual magnums and a minigun, plus quad damage and a berserker mode where you can one-punch most enemies in the game. The second mode is Stealth, aka Maximum Solid, which, by the way, while I was typing that out, spellcheck on Google Docs would not stop auto-capitalizing the M at the beginning of Maximum, and it was really starting to piss me off. Why is spellcheck one of the most useless fucking inventions ever? Oh wait, I'm talking about a mod for Half-Life, not how much I hate technology. Anyway, stealth mode is kind of weird because it's obviously intended for, you know, being sneaky, but there isn't really any level design in Half-Life 2 that is conducive to stealth gameplay. So this one just kind of ends up being not as useful as the others. The pistol kicks ass though. Abilities here: active camo and some EMP pulse thing. Maximum Freeman, aka Defense Mode, is basically an upgraded version of the base game's movement style and arsenal. You get the flashlight with this one, which makes it a requirement for the darker levels, as well as a Fortress Mode that increases your damage resistance. You also get an auto shotgun, which kicks all sorts of ass. The fourth mode is Recon Mode, or Maximum Boss. I think this one is supposed to be meant for longer range combat, since pretty much all the weapons you get with it have scopes on them. You also get night vision, which isn't anywhere near as useful as the flashlight, along with a morphine shot that instantly maxes out your health, which comes in pretty handy, to say the least. Lastly, we have my personal favorite, Ripper Mode, or Maximum Raiden. You get some guns with this one, but who gives a fuck, because you also get a katana, which insta-gives nearly every enemy in the game. Combine this with the increased base movement speed of the mod, along with your cloaking ability, and you basically turn into this marauding ghost of gore. Only downside is that you take, like, ambient damage or something while in this mode. So basically, no matter which mode you pick, you become some flavor of completely overpowered. This is mitigated, however, by the fact that the redone levels are much more difficult than the base game. Enemies spawn in much greater frequency all over each map. Late game enemy types appear much earlier. I think health and suit chargers have been removed from a lot of their base game spots, but don't quote me on that one, and ammo requires more careful management. There's a brief story setup you get at the menu that says in the mod's world the 7-hour war never actually ended, so shit's already going to hell from the very start of the game, and you're getting shot at before you even get the HEV suit. It's kind of jarring at first. I'm used to the intro for this game being a smooth ride through some world building and atmosphere setup, but the guys who made this said, fuck all that dumb shit, we need war. Anyway, the experience of this mod can be fairly brutal at times. Alongside the fact that Overwatch troops start appearing as early as Root Canal, Water Hazard also marks the first appearance of Striders, which this mod spams to hell and back. Yeah, you didn't think these bastards were bad enough in the Turf War section towards the game's conclusion? Well, here you go, now you have to take on these bastards before you even get to Ravenholm. Seriously, they are fucking everywhere in this mod. Probably my only real complaint with it, though they are easier to kill than the original game, so some mercy was shown there. I know the changed enemy spawns and weapon drops are probably things that some people won't like. Half-Life 2 is a game with a very thought-out pacing to it, which is a large part of why the game is so well regarded, so I know a lot of people tend to be really critical of mods that alter that aspect of it. I get that, but the way I look at it is this: I've beaten the original like 100 times, so at this point I kind of appreciate any new spin on it. The whole point of a remix mod is to screw around and give you a new way to experience it, so I don't really care as much if they fuck with the pacing of things. Alongside the redone enemy spawns, there's also two entirely new enemies, the bullsquids and the houndeyes, which return from the first Half-Life. They make a pretty cool addition to the enemy roster, but they are used very sparingly, so I kind of forgot that the mod even adds them back in a few times. At least they get emptied out from a sack all over every level like the Striders do, though. I think the primary strength of this mod, though, is the power fantasy aspect of it. No matter what mode of attack you pick, you practically turn to a force of nature, which is an experience that's very unique from the original, which had a more scaled back and grounded gameplay experience. If you're like me and you're not super familiar with the Metal Gear series, that's alright, because all that stuff seems more like window dressing than anything and not an integral part of the experience that the mod provides. It's a little janky and it crashes from time to time, but overall I thought this mod provided a pretty cool new way to play an old classic. Hey everybody, if you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thanks. It means a whole lot. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all your standard YouTube outro stuff that you always hear. And other than that, I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.